I ever tell you guys about this trippy dream I had one time? It was more like a nightmare. And I had this dream in about 1986. And I think it was like shortly after my mom had had a stroke and my dad wasn't well. He had cancer. And I had 2 children and I was trying to take care of everybody. And I had this dream that for some reason we were all like sitting down to Thanksgiving dinner or something, the whole family, like me and my parents and my children, and I don't know, there may have been family, friends, or other relatives there, and like for some reason there wasn't enough food to eat, or there wasn't any food to eat. I don't remember, but I remember offering myself as dinner. And I remember saying, there's not a lot of meat on me, but probably, and I'm climbing up on the table and lying down, like, for them to carve on me. And I'm going, you might want to go for my thigh because it probably has the most meat and will feed the most people. And I was just, like, very matter-of-fact about it. I wasn't going to die. They were just, like, going to take a piece of my leg for Thanksgiving. Definitely one of the weirdest dreams I've ever had. I will never forget it. I also had a dream one time shortly after I divorced my first husband, or shortly after I separated, I should say, from my first husband. And I dreamed that there was I was in my apartment with my kids, and I heard something at the window. And in my dream, I woke up because of the noise at the window. So it was like I woke up from the dream, but I wasn't awake. And so I hear something at the window. I go over to the window, and I realize that there's this masked intruder, and he's trying to get in the window. So I ran, and I got a knife, and I hid, and he came in the window, and I killed him. I totally killed him. And then when I looked, it was my ex-husband. That was horrible. That was really horrible dream. One time, when I was a kid, I dreamed I went to school in my pajamas at night. It was kind of cool and kind of embarrassing all at once. It was cool because it was night and the lights were all on at the school and everybody was there at night. But I was in my pajamas and nobody else was. One time, shortly after my son was arrested, I had a dream that myself and a bunch of other family members got all in a car, a station wagon, with a hatchback, and we all went to visit him at the jail. But when we got there and we were all getting out of the car in this parking garage, and my brother-in-law was there, and my sister, and other relatives, and somebody opened the hatchback. I was way in the back, and somebody opened the hatchback to let everybody out that was in the very back of the vehicle. But before I got out, my brother-in-law closed the hatchback, and I was left in the car. And I remember thinking, well, they don't get that many chances to visit, so maybe they didn't want me to go. Maybe they don't want to include me. Well, I'll just let them go and have their visit. It's okay. It's so weird. My brother-in-law would never close the hatchback in my face. He wouldn't. But that was the dream. One time when my children were very small. I had a dream that I was living with my parents and my children, and my father and I were watching the news, and they had one of those, like, you know, those emergency signals on TV, like the test pattern thing, and it said that the sun, for some unknown reason, was hurtling towards the earth, and we had a very short time, and the earth was going to be swallowed up by the sun. And I remember my dad and I going out into the driveway and looking towards the sun. I don't remember it hurting our eyes, but we looked towards the sun, and it was like really, really big. And we knew that we didn't have much time and that it was going to be a horrible death. So we went inside and we turned the gas on in the oven, which is odd because my mother actually had an electric stove and oven. But in the dream, we turned the gas on and we closed all the doors and the windows, and we were just going to kind of quietly commit suicide, my dad and me and my kids. I don't know where my mother was in the dream, oddly enough. But yeah, we were just going to kind of quietly go to sleep and avoid burning to death. Why do you suppose we dream the things we dream, you guys? Is it a combination of images that we see like throughout the day combined with emotional stuff that we need to work through and relationship issues working themselves out in our psyche? What do you think? And I'd love to hear about what some of the weirdest dreams that you guys have ever had are. It seems like the ones that I related were particularly horrifying, but maybe that's because those are the ones I remember the most, because they were freaky and shocking and scary, and, you know, the kind of dream where you wake up in a cold sweat. Scary, you guys! Dreams can be very scary. But then waking life can be scary too. Not sure. I think you're better off in the dreams, because you're actually safe in your little bed. Anyway, I hope you guys are happy. I hope you're healthy. And I hope you have a wonderful night. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.